Hey there, YouTube. I just created this channel, and so I figured as a first thing I would do is remember where the hell I put my cards. Cool. So as the name says, this is going to be a Cardfight Vanguard channel. You know, the new thing. I'm actually planning on putting money into this channel, so I just got a job, and first paycheck's going on Booster Box 6 and 2 of the Gold Paladin trial decks. So I figured that as a first video, I would kind of just introduce the channel. It'll come with, profiles, box openings, pack openings, every now and then. When I have some spare cash, I'm gonna, pull out of my pocket and give me a pack and show you what I pull. But as the first video, I kind of just wanted to show you guys as well how, how the game is kind of played. Because I didn't really search, because I'm hella lazy. So I'm just going to make a kind of like a how-to video on how to play the game, if that makes like any sense whatsoever. I'm going to be using the Royal Paladin trial deck to do this. So hopefully, somebody watches this. But first, you always start out with, a grade 0. Grade 0. In this case, in the structure deck, you're going to use Stardust Trumpeteer. Your starting Vanguard is usually, your choice. You can use a trigger or not. Speaking of triggers, I'm going to show you the 4 basic triggers. There's heal, stand, draw, and critical. In this deck, you have 4 of each. A deck must consist of 16 triggers total, 4 copies of any card. So, I can have 8 draws, 4 stands, and 4 heals. The only limitation on this, though, is that you can only have 4 heals. Reason being is, personally, I just, fill all my triggers with heal triggers, and just sit there most of the game and be like, heal trigger, heal trigger, heal trigger. And the game would usually go in my favor. But you have, critical. Little symbol up here. Critical. Stand. Draw. And the heal trigger. Every trigger does a certain effect. Heal heals the side of the damage and gives 5,000 to a card of your choice. Draw is draw a card, and heal, or not heal, and 5,000 power. Stand is to stand a unit. Stand one of your rear guards. It can't be your Vanguard. It'd be a little cheap if it could stand your Vanguard. And then 5,000 power, and then critical increases the damage your opponent would take from the hit by 1, and adds 5,000 power. So to start the game, select a grade 0 and place it face down in your Vanguard circle. Let's see if I can't show this to you. Sorry for the lack of mat. I'm still working on getting one. So most of my videos are going to come at you from this carpet right here. Maybe a different carpet. I don't know. So shuffle your deck after selecting your Vanguard. Shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle. Set it in the deck zone. In my case, my deck zone is going to be off screen. You draw 5 cards. The ideal hand, from what I've heard, is usually 1 grade 1, 1 grade 2, and a grade 3, so that you can at least ride through every ride phase to the final grade, grade 3. In this case, this is my hand. You get somewhat of what it's called a mulligan. I don't know what they call it. I call it mulligan. So I'm gonna mulligan 2 cards, preferably my triggers. I want to trigger into those. Shuffle. 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 Cut, tap. Draw until you have 5. Hand limit in this game is no limit. So there's my new hand. Not much of an improvement. Your opponent does the same. Rock, paper, scissors. Roll a dice. Figure out who goes first. Whoever goes first, or not whoever goes first, whoever wins must go first. No choice, must go first. So after you figure that out, stand the Vanguard, which is pretty much to flip it face over. Let's just say I went first. I draw. Draw for turn. Ride phase. To ride is to place a card of similar grade or one grade higher on top of your Vanguard. In this case, I'm going to ride Knight of Rose. Call phase. If there's no effect, call phase. Call phase is to simply take a card of equal grade or lower than your Vanguard and place it in a rear guard circle. You have 5. You have your front rear guard, you have your back rear guard. I'm going to end my turn. My opponent's going to go la-di-da. Now, they attack. To attack is to simply take the card and place it sideways. Welcome magic. Here it is. This is to rest the unit. Some effects may call to rest the unit. Swinging always calls to rest the unit. You rest the unit. Only if your Vanguard is the one swinging do you get to perform what's called a drive check. A drive check is to simply take the top card from your deck and flip it face over. In this case, no trigger. For a drive check, you add to your hand. Now say my opponent swung. Okay? They swing with their Vanguard. They hit. To hit is to be equal power. Power, right there. Of equal or more power. They hit. Damage check. To damage check is to simply take the top card. Yes, I used the same card. Take the top card, in this case, no trigger, and place it in your damage zone. Your damage zone is on the far left, most of the time on the far left. I really haven't seen anybody use it anywhere else, but on the far left side. It's face up. 6 damage, lose the game. No questions asked, lose the game. So my opponent does this thing. I have 2 damage. Trigger. I reveal a trigger for a damage check. I give the power to my Vanguard, which is usually what people do to protect their Vanguard, and draw. So place it in the damage zone and draw a card. That's the card I drew. They end their turn. I stand and draw. If I were to attack, to stand and draw is to simply just take them and make them stand. Right side out, whatever you want to call it. And draw. Card I drew. Ride. Ride to grade 2. Call, since no effect can go off. Call. I'm going to do what's called moving. I'm just simply going to move this to the rear back. To the back rear guard. And call 2 more coming at night. Coming at night. Card I wrote. Sorry if there's glare. Kind of a little late to say it in the video, but sorry if there's glare. I can't really see it because I'm using the camera on my laptop, literally. Call. In this case, I didn't mention it earlier, but this card, when you call it to a rear guard circle, you give 2,000 power to another Royal Paladin. Clan's down in the bottom right. In this case, it's a full Royal Paladin deck, so the effect's going to go off no matter what. 2,000 power to my Vanguard. I'm not going to call anything else. It's my turn to attack. Attack is to simply turn it sideways. Interesting thing here is that grade 2s have what's called intercept, and that's when your opponent attacks, you simply take it from the rear guard and place it in the Guardian Circle. I'm going to explain that more later, but what I want to explain now is grade 1s. Grade 1s have what's called boost. Grade 0s have them as well. Don't know if you can see it. Have what's boost. To boost is simply turn the card behind the front row, rear guard, or Vanguard sideways into rest and add the power to the front rear guard or Vanguard's power. In this case, the total's 14. Let's say it hit, drive check, no trigger. Or no, not drive check, my bad. Ignore that part. That was a fail. That was a complete fail. Swing with the Vanguard. Now drive check, no trigger. Boost and swing. It's their turn. They do their thing. Now I'm going to explain intercept and guarding. When your opponent declares an attack and rests his units, he selects the target. After he selects the target, in this case we're going to say the Vanguard, you can call from your hand Guardians. To call a Guardian is to simply take it and place it in the Guardian circle, which is in front of your front row rear guard. And then you add the shield power, in this case 10,000, to your Vanguard's power. The total is 18,000. Let's say my opponent's attack missed. I'm safe. It moves to the drop zone, or the graveyard for you Yu-Gi-Oh players or Magic players. I don't know what they call it in Magic. They attack again. I don't want to guard from hand, but I want to do what's called intercept. Grade 2s have this nifty little thing called intercept. To intercept is to simply take them from the front rear guard and place them in the Guardian circle. And then add their shield power to the power. They do their thing, damage check, I'm going to let that go through. Now stand and draw. Now, you're not technically supposed to do this, but let's say I get a grade 3. Okay? What I actually got was this nifty little stand trigger. Don't want that. But, we're going to say I got a grade 3 so that I can ride. Ride for grade 3. Okay. Now, with all grade 3s, they have what's called Twin Drive. This only goes off in the Vanguard circle. What Twin Drive simply does is you check twice for a trigger on the drive check. So if I were to swing with my Solitary Knight Gancelot, double rare by the way, recently pulled that, kind of mad I didn't have the channel to show you guys, and then you drive check. First check, no trigger. Second check, no trigger. That's the simple basis of the game. There are more to effects. There's nifty effects called Soul Blast, which is to take cards from under your top Vanguard and retire them. There's Counter Blast, which is to take cards in your damage zone and to flip them face down. They still count as damage when face down, but sometimes you need to take a certain amount of damage for an effect to go off. Like, right here, I don't know if I can show you real well, but over here it says Activate Vanguard Circle, Counter Blast 2. I really don't know if you can see that. I'm sorry if you can't, but I'm going to try and explain that the best I can. Is that if I had Blaster Blade, this little guy here, Blaster Blade, if I had him in my soul, which is under this card, I could Counter Blast 2, take 2 cards from the damage zone, flip them face down, and he would gain, you know, a certain effect. In this case, it's 5,000 power and an extra critical until the end of the turn. But, I mean, that's the simple basis of the game. I'm running on, what, 14 minutes here? Okay. But that's the simple basis of the game. I think this would be a really good video just to introduce the channel. I will be doing this channel with 3 other people, if they agree. I'm not 100% sure. But I hope to get a lot of subscribers. So hit that little subscribe button up there and I'll get you a couple, you know, box openings and some deck profiles and all of that jazz. But this is Toxic Vanguard coming at you from Kenton, Ohio. Signing off.